Hello everyone and welcome to today's Ukraine update. In today's video we will be discussing the latest news going on in the front lines of Ukraine. So first off, moving to Kherson, Ukraine still manages to hold its footholds on the Russian side of Kherson. The Russians have been bombing the Ukrainians heavily and there is fighting reported here, but as of yet the Russians have not managed to force the Ukrainians to step back. Yesterday, Russian reports, pro-Russian sources reported that Krinky had fallen to the Ukrainians. I don't believe these reports, and we have no video, photo evidence to confirm this, so I don't believe that. I think the Ukrainians are keeping their foothold, but the Ukrainians have not managed to do a massive offensive. Right now, this is not their offensive into Kherson. This is their, basically, preparations so they can get a foothold where they can transfer the necessary equipment to do a full-scale operation on the Russian side of Kherson. Moving on to Robotine, the front has been kind of silent. The Ukrainians did manage on the 29th to take this piece of fields and trenches. However, at a pretty high cost. I think there was over 3 Leopards destroyed in trying to do this. And if you guys will remember, a couple months ago, or a month ago, I released a video about Ukraine's goals to take Tokmak, and what the United States said, basically Ukraine needed to take Tokmak, or at least be at Tokmak before the end of November. Honestly, I do not think that's going to happen. It's practically impossible right now for the Ukrainians to make such advancements. The Ukrainians are severely weakened near Robotine, and they really don't have the manpower to do any of this. There are all reports that the Ukrainians are trying to launch some type of attack around these areas like Kopane and these areas over here. The reports seem valid. However, I don't think this is going to be successful for the Ukrainians. I think the Ukrainians basically are going to be defeated. By the end of the year, Ukraine will not have reached Tokmak, and the front lines on Robotine would probably not really change that much, at least from this area to Tokmak. They could have some success here. However, I think the best place where Ukraine's having success right now is the Kherson area. Moving on to Avdiivka, with the Russians all on the offensive. The Russians did manage on the 30th to take this area over here, and on the 29th to take this area over here, and fighting is reported. There were a bunch of claims saying the Russians entered the coke plant, and that is actually false. It was just some pro-Russians spreading false rumors about that. The Ukrainian Leopard was destroyed over here by a T-72. According to the reports, all we get is a video of a burning Leopard tank. This is the 6th or 7th Leopard tank that Ukraine has lost around Avdiivka. The Russians also tried to do an attack, and you'll see the video right now, and some vehicles did get destroyed. However, the most important thing about this video is that the Russians were shooting at these tree lines over here that this map says is under Russian control. So perhaps this tree line is no longer under Russian control, or it's just in the gray zone right now. It doesn't mean it's in the Ukrainian control. It just means it could be in the gray zone, because Russians are not going to be firing at their own troops. Around Avdiivka, the Ukrainians did make some advancements on the 30th, and as you can see on the 29th and the 21st, there have been some advancements. Many people say they are trying to take these villages, clear these villages of Russians, and push them completely across the other side of the railroads. Also over here, the Ukrainians have established control over this side of the railroads, and we could see an attack on Bakhmut probably in late November, early December. I'm not saying that's going to be a successful attack. I personally don't think so. However, again, Bakhmut, even though it has some strategic value, it's more of a PR city. Putin has said recently that Bakhmut will forever be under Russian control, and Bakhmut, as we all know, the Ukrainians were hyping it up. Bakhmut fortress, and it would never fall, and it fell. So I personally think it would be stupid for the Ukrainians to spend so much manpower and so much vehicles on a city that, even though it is important, it's not as important as much as it is a PR stunt for the Ukrainians to retake Bakhmut. So the Ukrainians have made small advancements on the 30th as well. So it seems like the Ukrainians are trying to regain the initiative and basically have the Russians stop focusing on Avdiivka. Also on the 29th, Ukraine made some gains over here, and most importantly of these gains, on the recently on the 17th and 29th, the Ukrainians have pushed the Russians back in some sort of counterattack around Sinkivka. So when this battle first started a couple months ago, people thought Sinkivka was going to fall. I said Sinkivka was going to fall, and Sinkivka may still fall. However, we got recently footage of Russian shelling positions over here, which means the Ukrainians have managed to recapture or at least push it into a gray zone, the area around Sinkivka. So I don't know when the Russian big attack on Kupiansk, the Kupiansk offensive, is going to start. Most likely it's going to start sometime this winter, and then you'll see a full-scale Russian offensive. I believe you're going to see it this winter. However, depending on how well the Ukrainians do in Kherson, this could affect the overall Russian offensive, the winter offensive that they are trying to do. Basically, guys, that's all we have for today. Thank you guys for watching. Again, subscribe to the channel. Join the Fact Army. Comment your thoughts down below. Again, YouTube, I'm not condoning violence or killing of any kind. I'm simply reporting on what's going on in this unfortunate conflict. Thank you guys for watching, and goodbye.